what's going on everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com back today with another daily crypto update. In today's video, I'm going to cover some news and go over my normal schedule, which is Raiblocks, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, Neo, Vertcoin, Monero, OmiseGo, Lisk, Cardano, and IOTA, all of those in a technical analysis in that order on TradingView in just a second. Other than that, make sure to check out my premium content if you're interested in monthly cryptocurrency buying opportunities or 5 high return cryptocurrencies for your 2018 portfolio. And you can find a link to both of those things in the link in the description of this video. I will be posting one more buying opportunity for the 4-month subscription this month. So if you're interested, it's definitely not too late to get in. And other than that, make sure to check out Binance if you're interested in trading altcoins. And make sure to follow me on Twitter for live cryptocurrency market updates. Let's get started with the general market update, and I'll also cover some news here. So we're seeing a lot of cryptocurrencies finally starting to see some good strength, right? And it's definitely not like before where we saw cryptocurrencies going up 30-40% every day, but at least, you know, compared to what we were seeing over the past week or two, it is quite a strong bounce here. So, you know, Ethereum up 7%, Bitcoin coming back up towards 11,500, and we actually got some pretty strong movers, right? NEM got a very big bounce, up 30%, and that's because after the CoinCheck hack, executives decided to actually reimburse all the NEM holders' losses following the hack, and that's going to be, you know, out of their own capital. So it kind of solved the whole issue, and you know, that's good. I wasn't too worried about it either way. You know, I thought this was going to be a pretty short-term issue anyways, but it's just good to see that this is going to be correctly handled and not really anything to worry about, you know, on a bigger scale. Other than that, the CEO of Starbucks said that they're interested in actually accepting digital currencies, right, as part of their long-term payment technology strategy. And that's pretty interesting. They said that they wouldn't, you know, probably accept Bitcoin, but other cryptocurrencies, definitely a possibility. And, you know, you have to think of things like Litecoin, maybe even Ethereum, right? The faster ones, stuff like that, are probably a bit more likely for this type of transactions. You know, I'm not going to go over all the big movers here, but there definitely are some. KuCoin shares up 30%. These sunk very low actually following the big drop. Dragon Chain up 33%. But let's get started now with the technical analysis, starting off with Raiblocks. So Raiblocks finally is experiencing a pretty strong bounce here. I'll go ahead and throw on just a few indicators. It was acting very weak, and yesterday it finally started to kick back into action finally. And since then, it hasn't really looked back, right? We have consolidated a little bit after testing that 180,000 Satoshi level, but at least we are in much better standing than we were previous days ago. And I see this as just being a little bit of consolidation. I'll go ahead and zoom back in on the price. Not that much going on as far as the indicators are concerned, just because we're consolidating a lot here. But we of course broke out of the downtrend, and might as well go ahead and throw in some support and resistance levels once again, just to show you kind of where we're sitting. So of course right now, big resistance level at around that $180,000 mark. And as for the support, we're going to be looking at around, you know, 150,000 Satoshis, maybe a little bit closer to 160,000 actually. To be honest, we could drop below that again. That's definitely possible, but for now it's holding that pretty well. So we might just consolidate in this range just a little bit longer until we refine some strength. And to be honest, here within the next week or two, I think we're going to be climbing back to above 200,000 Satoshis, maybe even pushing that 220,000 Satoshi level. And I really like the fact that Raiblocks is regaining its strength, right? And it's holding its move especially. So that's a very good sign. I think that it's also good that it's doing this ahead of the Binance listing. I think it's much better to enter that with some strength instead of weakness, right? So the hype is back, at least a certain amount of it, as for Raiblocks, and I think that we will be moving back towards above 200,000 Satoshis in the next week or two. Let's take a look now at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is acting pretty much exactly like I predicted. I've been pretty accurate with my general market predictions here over the past couple days. And what I said here is that we're going to see a slow but steady increase. I think that'll continue. But I do think that in the next couple days, we might actually see a pretty strong bounce, even stronger than today, right? Maybe, you know, a lot of cryptocurrencies up in that 20% area, maybe even 30% within the next week or two. And that's because we're finally starting to see some crossover action, or at least right before it, on a lot of indicators here, not just for Bitcoin, but for other cryptocurrencies. But for Bitcoin, we're about to cross over above the orange line on the MACD, about to go positive on the histogram, and the RSI is coming back up. Very strong signals. Of course, Bitcoin tends to lead the market. It's holding above the uptrend line, even got a nice little bounce off that, and is now fully out of the downtrend. So that could spark, a pretty strong move towards the upside. Of course, we do still have some resistance levels, but I think we should pretty quickly be moving back above $12,800 here in the next few days. Let's take a look at Ethereum now and see what Ethereum has been up to. So Ethereum is actually already kicking back into quite a bit of strength here, trying to break back above $1,094. It is currently holding above that. We'll have to really make sure that we hold above that though, because we do have some resistance from the middle band over here, the brown line at $1,134. And once we can get back above that, which should be doable within the next few days, we're pretty much back to where we were previously, and we should be climbing back towards the highs at that point. Broke out of the downtrend on the RSI. We were waiting on that. That now happened. That's very good. And we're coming back up slowly but surely on the histogram. Now finally starting to flatten out on the MACD. We just need to get that crossover, and we're pretty much ready to go here once again for Ethereum. Let's take a look at Litecoin, which has been a little bit slower than Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we can see that it is the case once again, right? It's still kind of flat, consolidating here in this area. Not really a bad thing, just shows that it's a little bit more tame than Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. Taking its time, flattening out on the MACD, histogram, and RSI, but things are advancing positively, and we should see Litecoin break above the downtrend line. That could even be tomorrow. Might even get a pretty nice bounce there. So I'm not, bearish on it either way, but it's just been a little bit more slower. I think it's where we're going to see it also kick back into action here as the market bounces. Let's take a look at Ripple now and see what Ripple has been up to. So let's go ahead to the Bittrex chart, and we can see that Ripple finally, slowly but surely here, broke out of the downtrend line. We do have a bit of an inverse hammer candlestick, which isn't the best sign, and it's not been acting super strong, but at least we're out of the downtrend. The indicators are trying to flatten out, but they're not doing that good of a job right there. Kind of weak right now. Not completely bearish though. I mean, they're definitely trying to, stabilize, and that's already a good sign. I think we're probably going to consolidate just a little bit more here for Ripple, and once we're looking a little bit stronger on the indicators, a little bit more flat, we should start coming back up on the indicators and on the price as well, back towards $1.50 and then $1.75 first. Let's go ahead and take a look at NEO now. Let's see what NEO has been doing. So NEO is finally starting to break above that $139 resistance level. We've been consolidating below that for the past 3 days, and now we're finally starting to move higher, which is very good. That's exactly what we wanted to see. We've also been holding the uptrend line very well. And really, we put in a bit of a resistance here with the highs of these candlesticks, so I should go ahead and put that in as a resistance level at around $146. But to be honest, I'm not too worried about that. We really should be moving back towards $150, probably even towards $160 within the next week or two at this point. So we still want to see that MACD come a little bit closer to that orange line and get that crossover. Histogram try to go positive, but the RSI is now sturdily climbing back higher. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next cryptocurrency, which is going to be Vertcoin, and we're going to see what Vertcoin has been up to. Vertcoin is consolidating its symmetrical triangle formation, is, relatively strong here. The indicators are looking good, are all uptrending. We just went positive on the histogram as well. So these are finally looking strong, right, after a very long downtrend on all of them. And the last thing we're waiting for is a break above the downtrend line and a move above $5. Once those two things happen, we're pretty much back into a more bullish territory, which Vertcoin hasn't experienced for a while, right, because we consolidated and started downtrending all the way since the last run-up. I think it's finally time for Vertcoin to start moving higher, and it should probably be able to get back towards $6.36 pretty easily. After that, we'll just have to see how much strength it has, right, if it can get back above $7 and basically be back to where it was consolidating previously. Definitely possible. It just depends on how much strength it has and if it's able to break back above $6.36. Let's take a look now at Monero and see what Monero has been doing. So let's take a look. Monero is currently moving back towards $350, putting in some higher lows here. And as for the indicators, still not where we want them to be, right? Still no crossovers, but at least we're slowly but surely moving towards getting some bullish signals there. That should happen within the next few days. Right now, we do have quite a bit of resistance at that $350 mark because we also have the middle band there around that area. So we want to try to get back above both those things, and then we'll be where we're previously consolidating. I think that should happen within the next 2 weeks without too much problem. Let's go ahead and go over to OmiseGo now, and we're going to see what OmiseGo has been doing. So we need to go over to Bittrex here, and let's take a look. OmiseGo is actually kind of weak right now, putting in a flat doji candlestick at around $16.50. Indicators, no real sign of strength, flat, a little bit flat on the RSI, but MACD and histogram still not showing much bullish action. And I mean, I wouldn't be necessarily too worried about this. It's definitely not the best sign that we put in yet another short-term downtrend here. But the fact that we put in this doji candlestick means that we may, get a reversal here. So that is one thing to look forward to, but we do kind of want to see it break out of this downtrend line that it just put in here with 3 or 4 previous candlesticks, because that could mean that it will trade a little bit lower in this channel if it doesn't find some strength pretty quickly. Let's go ahead and take a look at Lisk now and see if Lisk is finally getting back into action. It does look like it got a pretty nice bounce here, up 10%, and this is of course not what we're used to previously when things were going up 20-30% every day, but at least in today's market, that's pretty good, right? That's actually quite strong, and we're now moving back towards $25 as I expected. That's where the middle band is as well. So I think we should be able to get back above that within the next week or two, and really, as far as the indicators go, finally starting to really look like we're going to get a strong move towards the upside on those ones. Probably going to kick back in the next 2 weeks towards that $30 mark. Let's take a look at Cardano now and see what Cardano has been up to. So Cardano is unfortunately one of the cryptocurrencies that's been somewhat struggling. It's hard to explain why. I don't think there's a specific reason. I haven't been keeping up on the news of Cardano, but I think it's mainly just because it was acting very strong, even when other cryptocurrencies was weak, and it was just kind of time for a pullback and consolidation. A lot of cryptocurrencies are starting to bounce and find some strength. Cardano, not so much, right? We're still kind of downtrending, mainly just consolidating between $5,125 and $6,263. And we can see that the Bollinger Bands are very flat right now, right? Putting in a pretty tight range. Like I said in my previous daily crypto update, I think Cardano is going to consolidate, and I still stand by that, right? I think we're probably going to see some more consolidation here for Cardano. Indicators still downtrending, so unless we see those start to flatten out, no real sign of no real point in trying to call the bounce before it happened, basically before we see some bullish signals. I mean, let's take a look at IOTA for the final cryptocurrency of the daily crypto update, and IOTA is finally showing a bit of strength here, moving towards that uptrend line, kind of peaking on that. As for the indicators, we just broke out of the downtrend line on the RSI. We've got the MACD that flattened out, now trying to go back towards that orange line, and the histogram that's slowly but surely uptrending. Those are all very good indications, and we just need to break out of this downtrend line, get back up $2.63, and then we're already in much better standing. We still have that downtrending middle band that might put a little bit of pressure on the price. That's at $3. So if we're able to get back above $3, we'll really be in good standing here for IOTA, and I do think we're going to break out of the downtrend line here within the next few days, probably even tomorrow, right? With that being said, everyone, this is the end of the daily crypto update. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully here we'll really start to see the market start to get some pretty strong up days, and like I said, make sure to follow me on Twitter for live cryptocurrency market updates, and go check out my premium content if you're interested in that. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day. Catch you next time.